Hey guys, so in this video, I'm going to go over an issue in Redux and kind of debug the entire issue and give you some best practices of how to deal with the concept of message passing. It could be extremely confusing when first starting out using Redux to debug this kind of thing, since you're not working in one file anymore, you're working in three, sometimes more, as we'll see. Um, but I'll just give you a general idea of how I think through the Redux issues and how to kind of follow the code and make sure that you are not confusing yourself. This came from, there was a guy on Twitter actually who had an issue with his project, couldn't figure it out, was working on it for hours, posted on Twitter, hey, I need some help with this problem. And so I reached out to him and I helped him debug his code. And I thought it would be good to make a video. And he was kind enough to allow me to use his code to show you guys what I did and what you can learn from it. So let's take a look at his app. Um, so basically, you're a user, you log in, and you can add books and you can add movies. Now, the issue that he was having is in his books form, he can type, but in his movie form, he can't. So he's using Redux to store the state of his form. I don't like to do that. I actually like to store state inside my components for forms, but it's important to know how to do both. So let's take a look at his code. And before we do that, actually, let me just show you this terrible drawing that I made so that we can follow how I kind of think this through. Now, we'll start with our app. From the app, we want to identify where what methods we're kind of invoking and where those methods are coming from. Those methods are coming from the action creator. So you want to go through the action creator, see what's going on in there, and then we want to check out the next step. Sometimes it's a request, but eventually it's going to get to the reducer. So we're going to go from app to action creator to reducer. You don't even have to worry about this part because this issue actually doesn't have a fetch in it. So let's take a look at his code. Okay, so I like to start obviously where the code is happening. So let's get rid of some of these and kind of identify where we are in his code. So we're at movies/new. So let's take a look at the routes. It's got a bunch of routes here. Let's identify movies/new and which component it is being rendered. So let's take a look at the new movie form wrapper. He has that in his components here. The important thing to do is to put blinders on. We don't want to get caught up in all these different components. Let's focus on where the code's happening and let's just follow the code. All right, so in his new movie form wrapper, he is basically, this seems like a wrapper for his movie form. Okay, so it's going to render new movie form wrapper. It's important to note that he's got a handle submit here that he's passing down to movie form. Let's take note of that. And then let's take a look at the movie form. Okay, so on the page, when we type, obviously we're listening for a change here. So let's find out where that change is. Okay, so he's got a function called handle change and he's handling his change. So first thing you want to do is figure out what's going on. So I like the console.log right off the bat. So let's just console.log the target that he's giving in here, the name and the value, and make sure that we're actually getting the right information. And then it looks like he's passing it into this update movie form. So we're gonna see what that thing does in a second, but let's just console.log this. Okay. So it's listening, it's finding that first, it's getting the name of the field, and then it's getting that first input. Okay, makes sense here. All right, so now let's find out what this function does. So it looks like he's getting it from his actions, okay? So this is his action creator. So, like I said, we're in the actual app here. And now we're going to move to the action creator. Okay, so let's check out the action creator called movie form. Now he has his action creators in a bunch of different files. You can have them all in one file. But like I said, put blinders on and just follow. And you're going to hit this action creator. Okay, and update movie form. So he passed in the name, which we know is correct. We know the value is correct. He's kind of putting it into a new thing called form data. And then he is hitting this action right here. And then now this is where we want to jump to our reducer. But what we'll notice here, and you can already kind of see it, he has two types of forms. He has two forms, one for a book, one for a movie. We can already kind of see that he's not working with movie right here. He's working with book. So this can be an issue. As you see movie here, all these things are movies. So it might be an issue that he just copied and pasted from the book form and never updated this. So let's just test it out. And there you have it. We never even got to our reducer. Okay, so that may seem like a simple issue, a simple typo, but I think he just got caught up with so much going on that he forgot to put blinders on and kind of go down that path. So now that this is actually working, let's take a look at what happens if we try to submit this form. Okay, so now it is rerouting to movies 13, which is good, but it's not rendering anything. And something is supposed to be rendering here. If we refresh, it looks like it's fetching from the back end and getting that information. However, it's not updating before the render. So intuitively, you should think that if it's not updating before the render, that means that the fetch is working. So the post is working, posting to the backend. However, the reducer, the store, is not getting updated. So let's follow the path here. We need to see what's going on when we click submit. So let's hit our code. Okay. All right, so handle submit. We don't have a handle submit. We don't have a handle submit here. He's passing it down in props, looks like. So let's go to the form wrapper, and there it is. And that's the thing that, yep, he handed that down in props before. And let's see what this does. So it takes our form data and it passes in the history and create user movie. Where is this coming from? So let's just follow it. It's getting it from actions, users, movies. Okay, so let's take a look at the action creator. And users movie, what was it called? it's here. So come on, VS Code, you got rid of the thing I was looking at. Handle submit, create user movie. Okay. All right, so create user, let's just search that, create user movie, perfect. All right, so this is where he's posting to his database. It's taking that information. What we could do is we could console.log the information here, but we already kind of know that that information's getting put in there. He posts to the backend, he gets his response, and then he dispatches add user movie. So I'm assuming that this means he's adding a user movie to his Redux. So let's find, all right. So he has add user movie in this same file, okay. Add user movie, so let's check out our reducer. Because if we're following the path, this is our action creator. Now, you see those capital letters, you're going to your reducer. So let's check out the reducers. And he's got a lot of reducers. But we're dealing with user movie, so let's check if it's in there. All right, so this is where it's supposed to be hitting, right? We can already see that, where was it? VS Code gets rid of the action creator, great. Stop doing that. Okay. Add user movie is in our action creator. Hit our reducer, it's supposed to come down here and hit add user movie. However, you can already see that he doesn't have add user movie, he has add user movies. That's your first issue, so let's test that. What you could do is you can console.log, make sure this is ever hitting this. Or you can just change this and then console.log something. Inside reducer. Let's see what happens now. New movie, testing 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 2, 3. Good. We have a different bug. Okay. So what's basically happening, we have to think about this, is it sounds like the movie's not getting added into the reducer, or it's getting added into the reducer without an ID. So it's saying that the property of ID of undefined, which means that it's probably cycling through all these current user movies and it can't find, or it hits one that doesn't have an ID. Okay. So what we can do is see why that's happening in our add user movie, because basically we're adding the movie now and we want to know, this is what he originally had here, action.movie. So I want to console.log, first of all, what are we putting in there? And also the initial state plus the movie, what are we getting? Let's do this second one first. All right, so let's run this. We're going to see what that initial state was plus the movie. Okay. Okay, hit that same error. Okay, so this is it right here. Okay, so initial state these 13 movies, and then that last one is coming in as undefined. If it wasn't undefined, it would have hit ID 15, and it would have, when it got here, it would have showed the 15th one. However, once we hit a reducer, it's getting something that's undefined. So we worked our way down the line to the reducer, but it's receiving something from the action creator that's undefined. So let's figure out why. So we're going to work backwards and go back to that action creator. The action creator for this guy, user movies. Okay, so, and now we want to know from add user movies, what are we passing to the reducer? So it looks like he's returning the type, and then he's passing user movie. He's not passing what he thought he was passing, which is movie. So let's uncomment that, test out. If we change this, let's get rid of that. Will this come back undefined, or is that our bug? Let's see. Make sure we're all good. Okay. Okay, so this is my console.log now. It's not undefined anymore. It's the movie. It's got its attributes. It's exactly what we need. Okay, so now let's make that change. So again, putting the blinders on, moving from action creator to reducer. If we need to, we move backwards back to action creator. And let's see if this works. Create the movie, and boom. So it is pushing to history. It's hitting number 17 here, and it's rendering the actual thing that we need to see. Now, he was having the same issue on the other end. And let's take a look if that's the same issue. He's got user movie over here. It's going to be user books. Action.book he's got. Yeah, so he's got the same kind of idea here. Add user book. And he doesn't have an S at the end, so that's a good sign. And now let's move backwards to his action creator for user book. Add user book, and look, he's passing in user book here as well. So let's move over to his user books and change this to, save that, fire that guy up, add a book, create a book, and boom, we debugged his code. All right, so the main takeaways here: start in your app, put the blinders on, don't worry about any other components, and just move, follow the white rabbit to the action creator. Make sure there's no bugs in the action creator. See where the action creator takes you, most likely the reducer, and just make sure that all the information is getting passed correctly and it's receiving the correct information. If not, you can go back to the action creator and see what you're passing to the reducer, and then move back to the reducer. Boom. So so easy. Look at this wonderful demonstration here. All right, thank you so much. If you found this helpful, please like and subscribe. I will continue to make videos. Would love any feedback that you have. I want to make these videos better and better as I go. And that's pretty much it. Please follow me on Twitter at @TheDrewPrint. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day.